All right, let's talk about the latest trade rumor. Nikola Vucevic, 6'10", 260 pounds, 7'5" wingspan, 34-year-old center for the Chicago Bulls. You may remember him from Orlando, right? What did he have, an all-star year? There was a down year. I don't know if you'd ever call him an all-star. It was kind of a janky one. But this year, at 34 years old, what is he at? 20 per game, 46% from 3 and 10 boards, 20 and 10. And the Bulls don't make a ton of sense, right? It's like, are they punting or are they not? I don't know. But they're like, hey, 2 second-round picks is the starting price for Vucevic. We want to trade him. Now, that's going to go up, right? How well he's playing, and I think they know this, that they're going to try to drive the market up into perhaps a first-round pick. The Lakers are on the hunt for a center just like us, right? And so I don't think Chicago wants to take any money back. So what you're looking at is an expiring bigger contract, perhaps a young player to make the money work, and then some sort of draft compensation. And, the Lakers, they're going to try to offer him D'Lo, right? It'd be like D'Lo and Maxwell Lewis, and then where are the picks? Do the Lakers offer a first and the Warriors offer a second and lose out, right? I'm sure the Kings would like to get involved in this because they try to get involved in almost any name that's available. But like so many of these teams, when you look around, like who can make a bid for them, they don't really have the money to make it work and make it make sense unless the Bulls want Kevin Huerter, which I don't think they do, right? But a lot of these teams potentially, like I'm sure the Knicks would love to acquire him. They don't have the money to make it make sense. And so the Warriors, hey, I'm not going to sit here and say I've been a fan of Vooch, but this has been an impressive season for him. And you saw him light the Celtics up last night. He was going crazy, pull up threes in transition. Celtics pulled away late, but Looney, Melton, and then I think it would cost a future first. Now you could heavily protect it, maybe lottery protected or something, not top 3 protection, but I think that I don't know if the second rounders will get it done unless you come up with a young player that they really want. And my first thought was Melton and GP2. But if you're bringing back a center, it makes more sense that Loon would be in the deal. He's on a 1-year deal. Melton's on a 1-year deal, right? I'd hate to lose Loon. And a part of me feels like I'm not sure how much of an upgrade Vucevic would be ultimately to Looney. I get he can score. You can throw it on the block. He can score. He shoots the 3. But, Looney's probably a better defender, better rebounder, better screener, system integrity. But I couldn't be mad at it. But I'm curious to see the bidding wars for Vucevic at 34, and that his game, you say 34, but his game should age rather well. I think he has 1 more year left, I think at $21 million, right? But he could play like this for another couple years for sure. It's not like based off athleticism. But the Bulls, just like, who was it last week? It was Brooklyn last week that was like, hey man, we're open for business. Like come holler at us, right? That's basically what the Bulls have done. But the difference is the Bulls have these massive contracts, right? Zach LaVine is like a franchise-altering decision that's going to be very hard for them to make, even though he's playing better. What about Lonzo Ball? Now, he hadn't played in it was a crazy amount of days. Whenever they put the days to it, it always sounds crazy. He hadn't played in like 3 years almost, right? This knee issue that started with New Orleans. But let me remind you, because you forgot what he looked like, right? He was always this pass first, bigger defensive guard, push the ball, right? But then just before the knee problems, he started becoming a knockdown 3-point shooter. He completely reconstructed that ball release and was like a 40% 3-point shooter and was headed towards being like a Derek White type of player. Really, that's a pretty good comp right there. So I say all that to say, listen, you're taking a gamble. There's no doubt about that the knee could flare up. He only played 6 or 7 games. And so, but he had been out because he sprained his wrist. That's the good thing. He wasn't out again to rest the knee. He had sprained the wrist. He had taken a fall. He's back. I believe he's back. And what if he was Sean Livingston 2.0? Because Sean had the same, right? Sean's knee was decapitated and was injury prone. Bring him in from Brooklyn. and the rest is history, right? And what if he was this new version of S. Dot for us? And you get that done for Melton and GP2. I'm sure you have to add pick compensation. Lonzo, I believe, has one more year left on his contract. It's a gamble. It's kind of the same gamble they took with Melton in a lot of ways, right? It's that same spot. Probably not this. No, it is the same spot. And so, yeah, Vucevic, I couldn't be mad at it depending on how much we had to give up. But I think I would be more interested in Lonzo if you could get him, 10 cents to the dollar and take that gamble. He's a perfect system fit. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that Bulls roster. Let me know in the comments which one you would prefer and how much would you be willing to give up? Are you willing to give up a first-round pick for Vucevic? Would you rather give up Looney or GP2? And that's what's interesting in this new CBA. These trades are far less dynamic. Again, when you look across the league and you look at these rosters, there's really only, it usually works out to where there's only really like one or two options. Like if y'all want to make this trade, it's this player and this player or this, and that's it. You can't just it's not as flexible as it once was. So Looney, GP2, I don't know. Melton's obviously involved in the package. The other thing that I'll make note of that someone had reminded me of, Moody can't be traded this year, right? Like if a player signed an extension after September 28th, they're ineligible to be traded this year. Just like with Markkanen, right? I had heard the grumblings on the Bay Area radio. Trey Murphy would be a great fit, right? Can't be traded this year. Signed an extension post the 28th. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Bulls fire sale. Again, let me know in the comments who you'd prefer and what you'd be willing to give up, because there's not a lot of options. Last night, I hopped on a ticket app. And I was actually, what triggered it was I'm watching the local Phoenix news and they're like, Warriors Suns tomorrow, there's still tickets. And I was like, I looked and I typically listen, y'all know the Warriors and Laker ticket prices, they get run up, right? And so the prices, but I was like, this might be one of the last chances to see Steph still at the peak of his powers. I haven't gone since pre-COVID. It's been years and years because I have to cover the games and, the prices, all that. But I was like, nah, let me just, so my daughter and I, she hasn't gone in a long time either, are going to go to the game tonight against the Suns. And I'm super excited. I woke up at the crack of dawn, excited about it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a full roster. I mean, the Steph's got to play. That's the real one that, but we've got a bunch of questionable guys. I'm not exactly sure how my coverage will be of the game. I'll do a breakdown, I'm assuming, but it may come out later Sunday afternoon than that typical noon to 1 spot. But yeah, excited for this one tonight and excited to see the chef. And it's been too long since I've seen the squad in person.